I've never done one of these, so let's see how it goes. I'm going to start by learning one of my favourite tricks. It's a cool trick, the impossible. Not an ollie impossible, just an impossible. You don't need to know how to ollie to do this trick, but it will help. If you can jump high enough and you understand the concept of the impossible wrapping around your foot, that's a start. That will help. If you can do any other impossible leading into learning this trick, that's also a good start. Even no comply impossibles. If you've got that understanding of how it rotates and wraps around your foot, that will help. It's a good start on learning this trick. I believe this trick was invented by Rodney Mullen. I'm not an expert on impossibles, but I will explain the way that I learned how to do them by my good friend Alex Farrer. It's an interesting and cool concept. It just uses pressure to get the wrap around your foot. Depending on how fast you pick up and learn the technique, you might find it spinning and wrapping within the first day, but it's understanding how this trick works and getting it to work. Let's have a go at learning the impossible. Tricks you might want to know or have down before learning the impossible may be an ollie, but it doesn't evolve an ollie. So if you don't know how to ollie, but you can still jump quite high, that will help. If you can do 360 shove-its off the tail, backside, that might help, although it's more of a vertical motion. But knowing backside 360 shove-its will help. If you can do no comply impossibles well, then you've got an understanding of the wrap around your back foot, and that will help with this trick too. Foot placement. I like to have my back foot like this, roughly central along the board, with the middle of my foot along the middle center of my board. I like to have my toes just over the pocket. So I like having some of my toes hanging off. Have your foot square, perpendicular to the back bolts. If you don't have your foot square, if you have your foot like this, or you have your foot like this, off of 90 degrees, you will find the wrap spinning off at all different angles and throwing you off. So where the back bolts are, have your back foot central, toes hanging off. For my front foot, I like having just a little bit of my foot on the board. I like having my middle toe where the curve of the board comes round. So I've got my pinky and my next toe hanging off the board, kind of 45 degrees to the nose. I like to have the bridge or arch of my foot hanging off the board where the nose pocket is. Where the nose comes round and dips down, that's roughly where the arch of my foot is. And the reason you don't want that much of your front foot on the board is when you get your foot out of the way and slide it off 45 degrees that way. You want as little connection, as little as possible, holding up the board, holding on to it to get that foot out of the way as soon as possible. So again, a little bit of foot, a little bit of the ball of your foot with your middle toe where the curve of the board comes round. Now the next part is all about loading your back foot with most of the weight of your body. It's a bit over exaggerated. I can't stress enough how important it is to have most of your weight on the back foot. So my feet are roughly set up how I explained, square, at right angles to the back bolts, 45 degrees with my middle toe on the nose, and you can see I am leant back slightly, but I'm not leant back so the front wheels are coming up. I'm loading my back foot with about 80% of the weight, so when I move my front foot out the way, you're getting that ping. Notice the back wheels want to pop off the ground. Once you understand loading your back foot with most of the weight, it's probably not about 80%, but I can't stress enough, leaning, having most of your weight over the back foot will get the ping, and the ping together with the wrap, if you understand no comply impossibles, or you can wrap any other type of impossible, the ping together with the wrap and the jump should mean you might be able to land this trick. So you're loading your weight on the back foot, getting your front foot out of the way, you're getting that ping, and as you get that ping, you're moving your back foot forward and doing a little circle with your back foot. If you don't know the motion of a no comply impossible or an impossible, I didn't realise your back foot is doing a little circle until I watched Johnny Geiger's tip on impossibles. Your back foot is doing a little circle like that. Don't forget to do the whole circle. If you just do part of the circle, you'll find your nose is dipping down and hitting into the concrete. Make sure to do the whole circle with your back foot. That's the board wanting to go up. You get that vertical motion as you jump. Do a little circle with your back foot. Don't forget to move your foot backwards. Move your foot backwards to level the board out. And come down over the bolts. Always try to land over the bolts because I've snapped a tail or two on this trick. And as much as I love doing this trick, make sure to try and land over the bolts all the time. It's good practice. Right, we talked through foot placement, having your back foot square, parallel with the back bolts. I like to have my toes hanging off the board and have my foot central, as in a little bit of my toes and a little bit of my heel hanging off the board. But basically have your back foot parallel with the back bolts. Persevere, move your back foot around. But it's a good idea to have your back foot parallel, because if it is pointing inwards, you'll find that when it wraps, you will be off the line of where you were originally going, the original direction of your board, and it will throw you off. Have your front foot with just a little bit of your foot keeping the board from pinging up. Load your back foot with most of your weight. Imagine 80–90% of your weight over your back foot. It's probably not about that much, but the idea is to get that ping. The board will want to ping up if you've got the pressure right. When you release your front foot, when it gets that vertical ping, combine that with a jump high enough to get the rotation. The jump, that little circle with your back foot, combined should get the rotation and the wrap around your back foot. Again, make sure you jump high enough, which is at least half the length of your deck, so that the nose doesn't nosedive into the ground. Continue doing that little circle and the board should come back round, grip tape up, and land over your bolts if you can. The impossible is a really fun trick once you get your head around it. It's fun to do, it's cool to see people land. There's videos about why this trick shouldn't work. That's maybe why it's called the impossible. Good luck and have fun trying to learn the impossible.